We will call this meeting to order. Special City Council meeting, City of Dalhart, Monday, November 29th. First item on the agenda is the prayer. If you would bow your heads, please, and follow me in prayer. Lord, thank you for this day and thank you for the opportunity, Lord, together like we do. I'm so grateful, Lord, for all the blessings and all the opportunities you provide us with, Lord. I ask that you be with our citizens, our employees. Pray for our country, Lord, and our soldiers. In the name of Jesus, amen. Amen. Item number 1, discuss and act upon requirements and pay rate of an interim city manager. Andrew, thank you for setting this up for us. I think everybody knows, for those of you who don't, we're going to have SGR remote in. If anybody has any questions or concerns.
Awesome.
He looks from there. I think pretty good. You can talk to him.
Wendell, can you hear us okay?
Yes, I can hear y'all fine. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you. And you must be JJ. Great.
Yes, good evening.
Thank you. Thank you all for joining us. We thought we might have some questions, the situation that we're in. Maybe you guys could answer some questions for us.
And we'd be happy to. We wish we could be there, physically. I always enjoy a good road trip, get a chance to explore communities, and enjoy some great local dining. So I missed that opportunity, but look forward to it in the future.
Great. I think the biggest question I have is expense wise. What are we looking at? I know it goes off of your current city manager's salary. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. So we take the fully loaded salary. So that's the base salary plus all benefits. And we divide that by 2080, which is based off the 40-hour annual work week. And that's the hourly rate that the city would pay.
Are there any other costs or fees?
Yeah. So also including that fee schedule, you have a background and media search. Those are billed independently. I think it's $500 for the background, $400 for the media search. And then also we have the travel piece in there. So we always do our due diligence and try to find someone local that's within commuting distance. Commuting distance is 50 miles or less. If we're unable to find a candidate within commuting distance, then we would ask the city to pay housing. A couple different ways that you can handle the housing portion of it. Some cities choose to a hotel directly. Other cities have opted to provide like a monthly housing stipend based on whatever the market rental rate is. And what would happen is that the interim would be responsible for going out and acquiring housing. The second component to travel is also, we ask for up to 4 trips home per month, whether that's, round trip commute, driving. And so that is billed at the current IRS mileage rate, or, if we're looking at someone out of state, which I don't imagine that, then we would ask for some type of airfare reimbursement.
Does anybody else have any questions or concerns?
So if they're traveling, within 50 miles, are we paying them the rate as they drive back and forth every day too?
No, that's considered that's commuting distance. They're
Okay.
50 miles.
Probably not feasible to find somebody within 50 miles.
Not likely. Time-wise, how long does it take to get somebody in place?
I know we're on an aggressive timeline. I had the opportunity to go back and look at the November 15th meeting. I've already reached out to a few candidates. They are confirming their availability with their significant others. What would happen is that once I receive confirmation, I will go ahead and forward resumes to the committee. And my recommendation, since we're on an aggressive timeline, is to schedule a special meeting to interview the candidates. If you find a finalist out of that group, then we would move forward with executing the contract. And my goal is to try to get someone there as quick as you'd like. And just on typical average, I think I shared this with one of the council members. Quickest placement to date has been under 45 minutes, but on average, it's anywhere between 7 to 10 days before somebody actually reports.
think that's the way we need to
I
go.
think that's the direction we need to go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from you guys? Dwayne, you got anything?
No, sir. Not for them. They answered my questions.
Okay, Wendell, I guess we'll further discuss this a little bit more and probably get back to you guys in the morning with how we need to proceed.
Okay, and my esteemed colleague, if you have any questions regarding the permanent search, she's online here. She could address that if y'all would like to discuss any conversation regarding the permanent search.
Okay. So typically, if you find an interim, could they possibly become your permanent as well? Or are we searching for just somebody that just wants some part-time work?
Great question. My recommendation is always to focus on the interim placement first. But yes, we do have those scenarios where a candidate is interested in the permanent position, provided there's a mutual interest on behalf of both parties, then they would transition into that permanent slot.
Okay.
With a fee.
Yeah, that's correct.
So the permanent, we have to tell you to go ahead and start doing the permanent side search also from the point that when we decide we need to do that.
Right.
I mean,
But when that doesn't have to be made, that decision doesn't have to be made now.
we just need the interim in, we need the
Yes.
interim in, okay.
Yeah.
Just implement an interim search right now. Is that your recommendation? Just to
Yes,
do
sir.
an interim search?
That's my recommendation. That gives you some breathing rooms because the interim, they're going to be there. We always tell them at minimum 90 to 120 days. That allows the council to discuss and what you're looking for in your next CM candidate. So you have some breathing room. So you're not in a rush because this is a big decision. We understand that. So we definitely recommend taking your time.
And it would also make it hard for y'all to, if we put it inclusive together, with the outcome being a permanent, that would kind of handicap y'all, wouldn't it? In relationship to the interim position.
Yes, sir. We'd like to keep it totally separate.
And Wendell and I can certainly keep in close communication. So as things progress and depending on an interim that would be placed, whether they're interested in long-term and whether you're interested in considering them long-term, or if you've made the decision that, no, I think this is truly just an interim and we want to begin the search, we can, coordinate that to, the best interests of your needs and also to make sure that it ensures the most success in your end results.
Great.
Perfect.
Is that a typical outcome for an interim placement as a permanent city manager? Is that typical? Or is that something that it's kind of frequent? Just as maybe to sort of press those hopes that we might get up high or.
Well, that's
Go
another
ahead.
great question. We're looking at probably an 18% temp to hire placement rate, which we're happy about that. That means we're doing a good job of matching cities with interim candidates. And so typically what you'll find, majority of our candidates are retirees. They'll go into it just focused on the interim assignment, but there have been times where they get in and they enjoy the community and they become embedded with the community and with the council and staff. And they say, you know what? I think I'd like to be here long-term. So that is a possibility.
Perfect.
I just didn't want us to think, oh, that might be a hopeful avenue. And then we get like
Wishful.
5 candidates and they're like, no. No, I really want to be retired.
Stinking Nello.
Yeah.
Anything else for these two guys?
I do not have any more.
Okay. JJ and Wendell, thank y'all so much for remoting in.
Yes.
And absolutely, we'll be getting back in touch with you probably in the morning sometime, for sure tomorrow, and kind of letting you know how to proceed.
Okay.
Our pleasure. Don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions for me.
Absolutely. Thank you, JJ.
Thank you.
All right, thank you all.
Yep. Have a great night.
Thank you.
So do we need a motion then to move forward with SGR to search for an interim,
We need to act upon it.
act upon it?
Yes.
So I make a motion, we act upon getting SGR as our search for interim city manager.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
The housing. Is it the housing? I'm thinking, oh man.
Were you saying there's a,
So
Yeah.
I will reach out because there is a Airbnb here in
Mhm.
town that I
There
didn't know
is.
about until just when all this came up. And I can reach out and ask if that's
Mhm.
available. Because, I mean, housing is going to be a challenge.
yes, definitely.
It'd be up to 120, it could be up to whatever we need them to be here. And that's the thing,
Absolutely.
the cost of putting them up that long.
But
You do an Airbnb, you could probably talk them down a lower rate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
For them,
Just because-
probably.
It's gonna be rented out for 30 days straight a month.
Yeah.
yeah,
Perfect.
exactly. But I didn't even know we had that.
Mhm.
I didn't know we had one of those here either.
I heard that at
People
chamber.
come to Dalhart.
Yeah.
So,
Is
but
there an apartment across the street that's vacant or are those,
not anymore.
those are all filled up?
Mhm. I did see that some of the newer apartments on First Street and over here, they had some availability. They won't last long, but they do have some. So,
What are
Well,
those
and-
going for a month? Do you have any idea?
I think it depends on if it's 1 bedroom or 2 bedroom.
It's not those that depend on an income.
These on First Street do, but the ones over here do not.
Okay.
So,
Well, and we could possibly reach out to like our local realtors and see.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I know a lot of them do tons of rentals, so they
Okay.
may have something up their sleeve. They typically know or know who we could contact.
Something we'll have to keep,
Mhm.
try to stay ahead of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For that point.
For sure.
Okay, I have no more.
Need to discuss anything else or we
Just your qualification thing.
qualifications?
qualification requirements.
I mean, what, for as an
We need
interim,
to provide that to SGR. What our requirements are going to be. It sounded like they've already reached out to.
Yeah.
I think it's more for an interim, the way I read all that stuff, it's gonna be more, they give you 5 people, you interview whoever you like out of the 5, that's who you hire. It's not something where you're gonna have this big pool of people.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be, they're gonna give you 5 people and say, these people have agreed to come do the work. You choose out of the 5.
Okay.
It's not gonna be a true,
Requirement type thing.
I don't
That's
think
going to
so.
be the permanent spot that we.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, there's going to be a form that y'all will have to fill out, about with the questionnaire. I mean, they had it on, when you look at on their site, you saw that request.
They did send over kind of like what a future proposal would be and kind of have it broke down further. But that's nothing, I mean, that's just an example of what they do.
And the questions.
And they have inside of that, this probably help relieve even some of the council. One of the things they do is they video interview. And so they have a standard set of questions that they already start doing. And they will, they'll go through and then they kind of fill out because they'll do an investigative background on those individuals. They, check all their credentials, check their references. And then, so then they kind of form like the program of what they want to do or what kind of questions they want to ask. And then they proceed from there. So that's kind of what I got out of some of that information, just reading through.
Well, then I would assume that would be y'all
Yeah.
to figure out on that relationship.
On the interim,
Yeah.
no, well, this part would also be carried on to the city manager hiring.
Yeah.
The questions that we would.
Yeah.
That you guys are really wanting to have answered.
Yeah.
To be Or all of it?
Well, and inside of that also, they said that they will, it has a section in there that talks about like the interview process. And it says that they'll work with the council to, like, if you have other questions that maybe you don't really know how to vocalize or ask, I mean, because there's times where I'm like, I don't know what it is, what this specifically means or what we're looking for, but they'll know some of that and they'll be able to help guide you through that. So that's another something else that they do. They can help us, kind of figure those things out, because that's their niche. That's what they do. They
Yes.
There's
do that.
two areas where the city manager has stepped out into other positions, and I don't know if they're going to step into that same position. I asked the question here.
Oh, but the
And
outside group.
I'm going to do it directly like EDC.
Yeah.
And y'all know the situation there. So, if the individual's going to have to, what all he's going to have to step into. And I think that's something
If they'd be prepared.
that y'all are going to have to work out in relationship to
Yeah.
filling those other areas. It's where the conversation is about. Some of them we don't know the inner workings of, but on the city committee wise, that's got to be inclusive in that, I would assume.
Yeah.
Because I don't see anywhere where it says that they are required to be like on the lake board and all of that, and all the involvement and all of the other airport board and all of that. I don't know. So
Are you asking, because I'm not familiar with this either, and so there might be somebody that knows this answer. Are inside of those groups, is a requirement that maybe a city manager or a city official or somebody be?
yeah,
part of that?
it's just what the individuals have to step into,
Yeah,
and
I just didn't know if they, like, if if EDC says we would like for our city manager to be a part of this, or if that's a chair already.
He's supposed to be a ex officio member of EDC according to the bylaws
That's what I got.
on EDC. And that's the one I'm familiar with. Now, James did a whole lot more than just ex officio. So,
Yeah.
meaning this would be the time to kind of
Mhm.
vocalize how we want that to be,
Mhm.
but according to the bylaws, that's what is supposed to
Okay.
happen.
That's kind of what.
yeah, and
Like
if y'all want to question,
asking.
if y'all need to question some of these, need to be inclusive in what.
Well, and I would hope that if any of those boards, I would hope that they would reach out, knowing that somebody's stepping down, that they would reach out to the city and say, we realize that this individual is retiring, and if we, this is kind of what we're anticipating for the new city manager, or will they still be wanting to participate inside of it? I would hope that those individuals would reach out if we're not aware.
But we
So-
probably need to do some research on those bylaws for the others too, just to see where it's supposed to be, so that whoever you put in that permanent spot understands that that's part of it. I mean,
So with that formula he gave us for the expense, is that something we could figure based on James's salary? Could y'all put that together as well? I think.
Yeah, I think they probably, I would assume that maybe Wendell or somebody would reach out to the city and get that information. I think once
We
we're in
tell them to.
agreement, yeah, I think if everybody agrees, I would assume that they would reach out and that they would calculate that and bring it back to us to say.
Or ask them if that's
is
where,
this
where they need
what
to go
you-
ask it.
Yeah,
I think if we had an idea before we told them to move forward, it would be,
helpful.
yes.
yeah,
Yes, very much so.
yeah.
Do you know exactly what his pay was and all of his expenditures, like what we were doing? Like, I think we paid him fuel for his car. Thanks. Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I can.
Are we allowed to
always-
discuss James's salary at this meeting?
No.
Not, I mean,
Probably not throwing numbers out.
Not numbers.
Mhm.
Certainly, we need to deal with it at some point in time, but I think in the context of a pay rate at the interim, if that's how it's figured, I think everybody needs to know that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Is it public record or is it not? public
It is.
record?
It
So
is,
that's something
yeah,
that
it's on the,
that Ginger could ask Wendy tomorrow and try to put that together.
I can give you some help there.
I can also find out on like gas and,
Cell phone and vehicle per diem.
The,
yeah, everything like that.
it's got it in there somewhere about that extra cost to it in relationship to the hourly rate
What he was talking about on there,
on their fee structure.
their fees, yeah,
Inclusive in that.
and all the stuff. that's getting-
Yeah, the insurance and all that, all that to be inclusive. I know it's there somewhere.
And I read that too, a while ago. Yeah, I went through that whole thing. Read that.
So they basically just take James's, whatever he made a month, and then they kind of work it that way after months, I'm assuming, right?
That's what I understood it. They had a formula that he
Mhm.
rattled off that I'm assuming is probably on their
I
webpage
wasn't
or.
fast enough to calculate it.
It's figured on,
Yeah.
it's on 40-hour weeks is
Yeah.
basically hourly pay for.
It's an hourly,
from
yeah.
the money
based
that,
off of-
of manual.
Yeah.
So,
I just want to make sure we're not ending up spending double what we're paying James. You know, I don't think that'll happen, but I don't want to be surprised
Yeah.
And I don't know if that would be
or
it.
more for that matter.
Right.
So the 40-hour week plus time, the council and the other committees and all of that, that would be beyond that. So I don't know how that would work out. So after hours, after business hours, the activities that we might have to be involved.
So there's.
Just consideration if we
Form
could
with
do
that
something
formula
different.
on it or not.
If the city could, they could do something
something we
different.
could reach
on
out to
that,
them and ask.
Keep it more in line.
But we can do that this evening.
but like I say, this is just the interim.
Yeah.
So let's get them started and I think, and let them get here. Let's do it. If it costs a little, we just do it. And then get our search started and then find the perfect person that I know is out there just wanting to come to Dalhart. I know they're out there waiting.
And this might not be the time, so you tell me it's not the time. How does that go through the funding here locally? Part of it comes out of the salary, but the other, what would it have to come out of? The housing staff and all that sort of thing. Where's the funding come for that?
That's, I can't tell
I
you.
mean, I don't know if it's for consideration or not. I'm just talking to you about.
Well, I kind of, I agree with you, Joanne. I had the same questions because I know that we've talked in the past, like if we make, if we make any changes that we have to
In
amend.
the budget.
In the budget.
And
Yes.
And we
so,
will.
Yeah.
Have that,
Do that.
yeah.
just have a game plan going in. you know,
Yeah.
Just consideration for y'all.
Are you thinking that's something that we should go ahead and prepare to have an amendment to the budget?
No, I think we'd be,
Jump in the.
I think it's too early.
Okay.
Jumping the gun on that
Those
one.
numbers before we. can-
Yes.
Okay. Well, I just didn't know planning a meeting wise.
Provide a written document, contract.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, we'll look at it. We'll make sure everybody's comfortable with it. We'll determine what the numbers are. And if we can't for some reason, then but obviously that's something that's very important that we be
Yes.
able to get
Yeah.
everything in writing, signed off.
Well, what kind of a time frame like for council? Would we be thinking doing that if we get, like you guys were saying, like find some numbers in the morning and then set a meeting, or our next council? Would that be too,
I did next council meeting's Monday, so.
isn't it the 13th? Yeah.
It's the 13th.
Well, it's not, oh, it's not the second Monday, is it?
I know, that's, I had the same problem the
Thanksgiving.
other night. Yeah,
I think we need to have another special meeting if we.
Yeah.
Sooner.
yeah.
I mean, I guess that's kind of what he said over there. If we kind of visit with them, then you'll schedule that, I guess. It'd be the same kind of way.
Yep. So do we want to do the special meeting then on,
Do we want to wait on them to just kind of visit with everybody? We'll send all the paperwork and then go from there.
we can?
I mean, it's gonna take a day or so before they kind of figure everything out, right?
Mhm.
I'm kinda
7 to 10 days.
Well, because we need to
Like you.
for,
make the contact, whoever make the contact.
Yeah.
See what their programming is and then
yeah. Well, and
Have
Greg and
quickly
Wendy
they
said that
engage.
they would,
Yeah.
they would work to put together everything. And then that way, if they do need to make contact, they could contact here. And then that way they could get the correct true numbers and then send that out.
I think if we have any questions, we can start calling them direct and they're going to answer all of these questions for
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they've done this. So the least amount of time is what do you say, 45 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's as short as time for
That was not in Dalhart, Texas. No.
Probably not.
17 days have
Probably like-
somebody here. So
Yeah.
let's do this one step at a time. Let's just take care of one deal at a time and then go on to the next.
Yeah. So I think that sounds like
Maybe
a great
tomorrow, if
idea.
we can get some
You guys
numbers
get the
together, then we
numbers.
can decide
Yeah.
when that
Yeah.
special meeting needs to be.
Perfect.
Do you have time to meet tomorrow?
I am off all day.
Dog.
No, it's vacation. So whenever you want to do. Whenever you want to.
Oh, like you're not leaving town then?
No,
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like you were off and you were pie on.
I'm in the shop wiring a pickup.
Okay. Time tomorrow, Wendy?
Ginger, but yeah.
Ginger, sorry. Sorry.
There.
I just went that way.
It's okay.
Okay, sorry. guys.
I've been called a lot of bad names.
You're as bad about names as I am.
Wendy's been called.
There's a lot of worse things. to be called.
I'll say it the way you said it.
So if there's nothing else, we can have a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.